If you look at the Nifty chart since 1991 till 2016, it has compounded at around 12% per annum, and add up to that around 1.5% dividend yield. So it comes around 13.5% to 14% return per annum. What happens is that most of the investors get persuaded to buy and hold strategy, thinking that they will easily get 14% compounding for the long run, and then suddenly there comes 2008 or 9 kind of event which surprises them to see that there is 60% drawdown, and so they flush out the investment and get out. Look at the bottom up perspective. Sometimes people chase the stocks. As the price is increasing, their confidence rises, they buy more or they try to hold it and overstay the welcome, and then they disappoint as the steam is lost out. So is there any simple way to get out of this trap? To understand that, it is very important to understand at elementary level what drives the return for this Nifty index. Say for any index, it is nothing but a basket of stocks, and for a basket of stocks, what drives return is that individual stocks returns. Coming to a business, if you are an insider, promoter or promoter holder, it is your cost of setting up that business and your return on capital. Simple, that is your return. If you are a secondary or outsider investor, it depends on three important factors. The most important one, valuation. Valuation is nothing but your own cost of setting up that business. You are offered in the secondary public market to buy that business at a particular level of valuation. Simply speaking, if you buy any product at low cost, your expected advantage or utility or return will be high. Second factor is growth in that value. Now, being an equity shareholder, remember that business value might be growing, and that depends on competitive advantage. Can that business defend the competitive advantage profitability in the long run? That is the duration of competitive. Third most important and simple factor is dividend yield, which is again dependent on level of price you are paying, again valuation. So these are the very three important sources driving the return for any individual business, and thus the basket of businesses, and thus the index. Suppose your range of valuation is based on conservative 100 rupees to 200 rupees on optimistic basis. So on an average, say 150 rupees. Now consider over a long cycle that price in the market will not remain constant. As that price swings around valuation, your expected return will change from as low as -3% at the highest price point of 200 rupees to as high as 22% when it reaches at the bottom of say 100 rupees. How does it arise? The breakup is that at say 100 rupees, you are reaching the mid band or valuation of 150 rupees. Say it gravitates towards the value within 3 years, and as the value gets recognized, so that is the valuation return. Second component is say dividend yield, which will be towards 3%, and then add up a nominal growth in the value of business, which is 5%. In this context, it is quite simple to understand what drives the return. Your price you pay, nothing but valuation. Second, the dividend yield coming out upfront, and third, the valuation growth. At Multi-Act, what we do is a long-term basis of valuation based on studying long-term history of businesses and doing it in estimated business value methodology range. Valuation is not 100% science. The analytical edge that can be derived depends on what kind of businesses you select, how do you grade them based on their competitive advantages, and then which method of valuation you use, and what is your horizon of valuation. So in that sense, we do possess some kind of analytical edge. So is it as simple as sticking numbers in Excel and making money? Of course not. The catch, or as Buffett says, investing is simple but not easy. The catch is that this is somewhat scientific and simple part of valuation. What is hard part is that when the prices are shooting up well above your expected value, and when the expected return is say below 0, it might be even negative, it is very hard to get out and sell out. As the whole herd is moving to buy the thing, of course the price is shooting up, and it is very important for understanding your own greed and to stay away from that greed and exit. Take on the other hand, during the depths of pessimism and distress period, when our expected return was like 22%, things won't be looking that cheery. So you have to be greedy when most of the people are fearful, when of course all the news will be negative, the earnings might be wobbling and price is swinging on the downside. So there lies somewhat a behavioral edge that you need to develop by understanding your own greed and fear and sticking to the discipline through thick and thin.
In cricket, would you use batting average to evaluate a batsman as well as a bowler? Obviously not. Similarly, in valuation, you cannot use price to earnings as a valuation metric across companies.
The rules that we need to apply to make good investment decisions are fairly easy to learn, but the problem is that when you actually get to a point where the investment decision has to be made, you tend to be influenced by the behavioral biases that we all suffer from.